It is the autumn of 1941. The German Wehrmacht has torn through Soviet defenses like a scythe through wheat. Moscow itself trembles under the shadow of the swastika. In the Kremlin, Joseph Stalin faces a crisis that would break lesser men. His country is running out of soldiers. And then, a woman walks into his office. Her name is Marina Raskova. You must understand, this is not just any woman. Marina Raskova is a legend, a navigator who flew across 6,000 kilometers of Siberian wilderness, the first woman to teach at the Soviet Air Force Academy. To the Russian people, she is their Amelia Earhart. To Stalin, she is something far more valuable. She is a solution. On October 8, 1941, Stalin signs Order 0099. 3 regiments of women will take to the skies, not as nurses, not as support staff, as combat pilots. The 588th Night Bomber Regiment is born. They come from universities, from factories, from collective farms. Some are barely 17 years old. Mechanics, students, teachers, over 2,000 women answer the call. Only 400 will be chosen for the 588th. Their training, which normally takes 18 months for male pilots, is compressed into just 6 months in the frozen city of Engels on the Volga River. They learn to fly, to navigate by the stars, to drop bombs within meters of their target, to survive. But here is where the story takes a turn that even the most imaginative war correspondent could not invent. The aircraft they are given, listen carefully because this is important, is the Polikarpov Po-2. The Germans will come to call it the sewing machine because of the sound it makes. But its real name in the Soviet Air Force is even more telling. It is called the kukuruznik, the crop duster. Let me paint you a picture of this machine. Built primarily of wood and fabric, covered in canvas. Imagine a barn door with wings. Top speed when fully loaded, 60 miles per hour. Maximum altitude, 12,000 feet. Range, 200 miles. It has 2 open cockpits. No canopy, no protection from the elements. In the Russian winter, that means 30 degrees below zero with the wind screaming in your face. It was designed in the late 1920s as a training aircraft for student pilots. It was obsolete before the war even began. The women strap 50-kilogram bombs beneath the lower wings, sometimes as many as 6 of them. In the rear cockpit, the navigator mans a single KAS machine gun. That's it. No armor plating, no radio, no parachutes in the early missions. There isn't enough weight allowance. The joke goes that the Po-2's designer once said it could fly up to a window and look over the sill to see if the enemy was inside. This is not a bomber. This is a whisper made of wood and prayer. It is June 1942. The 588th arrives at the front. Their base is nothing more than dugouts carved into the earth and aircraft dispersed beneath camouflage nets. The German soldiers, battle-hardened veterans who have conquered half of Europe, are about to encounter something they have never faced before. The attacks begin at dusk. The women work in pairs, pilot and navigator. Their commanding officer is Yevdokia Bershanskaya, a woman with 10 years of flying experience who will lead them through every mission until war's end. The tactic is simple and terrifying. They fly in darkness. No lights, no radio communication. They approach their target from altitude, and then the pilot cuts the engine. The Po-2's biplane configuration generates tremendous lift, allowing it to glide silently. In the darkness, all the Germans hear is a soft whooshing sound, like wind through trees, like the swish of a witch's broomstick. They drop their bombs, reignite the engine, and disappear into the night before the enemy can track where they came from. Then they return to base, rearm, and do it again and again, sometimes 15 missions in a single night. The German soldiers begin to call them Nachthexen, the night witches. Now, You must understand the cruel mathematics of this. The Po-2 is made of wood and fabric. A single trace around, just one, can set it ablaze. The women have no parachutes. They fly too low for them to open anyway. The German High Command becomes obsessed with stopping them. They assign their night fighters, Messerschmitt Bf 110s, equipped with radar. But here's the twist. The Po-2 is so slow, flying at barely 60 miles per hour, that the German fighters cannot match its speed without stalling. The minimum speed of a Messerschmitt is faster than the maximum speed of a Po-2. The hunters cannot catch their prey. They try searchlights, anti-aircraft batteries. They even put a bounty on the women. Any German pilot who shoots down a night witch receives an automatic Iron Cross. Still, the women fly. Let me tell you about one night. One mission among thousands. A pilot named Nadezhda Popova is on her 18th run of the evening. 18 times she has flown into enemy fire. Her aircraft is held together with prayers and patched fabric. She is 20 years old. A searchlight finds her. The sky erupts with flak. Shrapnel tears through the wings. The canvas catches fire. Her navigator beats at the flames with her bare hands. They drop their bombs through the inferno and somehow make it home. The next night, they fly again. Nadezhda Popova will survive the war with 852 missions. 82 of those missions will be on planes so damaged that by all rights they should never have flown at all. In total, the 588th Night Bomber Regiment drops more than 23,000 tons of bombs on German targets. They fly over 30,000 sorties, more than any male regiment in the Soviet Air Force. 23 of their number are awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor the nation can bestow. 32 are killed in action. The war ends on May 9, 1945. The Night Witches return home. The 588th is renamed the 46th Taman Guards Night Bomber Aviation Regiment, a Guards designation reserved only for units of exceptional valor. And yet, when victory parades march through Red Square, the women are not invited. Their story is not told in the official histories. The Po-2 biplanes are scrapped or sold as crop dusters. The fabric and wood burn away to nothing. What remains? The German soldiers who survived remember them. In their nightmares, they still hear that soft whoosh in the darkness, that whisper of death. The women themselves, they remember differently. They remember sisters. They remember cold nights and cramped cockpits. They remember being young and terrified and brave beyond measure. They remember flying obsolete crop dusters into the guns of the most powerful military machine the world had ever seen. And they remember that they never turned back. All the members of the 588th were women. The navigators, the ground crews, the mechanics, even the support staff. Every single person who kept those wooden biplanes in the air. An entire regiment where no man set foot. The Night Witches proved something the world did not want to acknowledge, that courage has no gender, that heroism is not measured by the weapon you carry, but by how many times you climb back into that cockpit knowing you may never come home. This has been a documentary broadcast. The Night Witches, Nachthexen, the women who hunted in the dark. Their story is not ancient history, it is not myth, it is fact. The last surviving Night Witch, Nadezhda Popova, lived until 2013. She was 91 years old. To the end of her days, she kept a photograph of her Po-2 biplane. When asked what she remembered most about the war, she said, "I remember the stars, how bright they were when we flew." If you want to hear part 2 of the Night Witch's story, the individual pilots, the most harrowing missions, the ones who didn't make it home, hit that like button below. Your support tells us which stories matter most to you. We publish a new episode every single day. Stories of courage, sacrifice, and heroism from both world wars. Stories your grandparents lived through, Stories that deserve to be remembered. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Because these aren't just history lessons, they're the echoes of real voices from the greatest conflicts humanity has ever known. Until tomorrow, remember them.